Welcome to this presentation about wetland plants. We hope you learn from this and come up with a few questions to research. You might already know quite a bit about plants. Brainstorm what you know, and then think of 1 to 2 questions you have about plants. In this presentation, we are going to discuss wetlands, wetland plants and adaptations, and 6 different types of wetland plants. Wetlands are places where there is water at least part of the year, with special soils called hydric soil, and specially adapted water-loving plants called hydrophytes that live there. Wetland plants provide habitat for insects, amphibians, fish, reptiles, mammals, and birds that thrive in wetlands. Wetland plants have a variety of adaptations that allow them to live and reproduce in flooded, low-oxygen conditions and during droughts. General adaptations differ for each wetland plant community, depending on conditions plants must face in that specific habitat. Every animal or plant has basic needs that they need to meet in order to survive. Basic needs includes things like food, water, and shelter. In order to meet these needs, animals and plants have adaptations. What do you know about adaptations? An adaptation is something that helps the animal or plant meet its basic needs. Adaptations can be a body part or a unique behavior. Wetland plants are plants that have developed special adaptations that allow them to live in the water. These water-loving plants can be found floating on top of the water, reaching above the surface, or completely covered by water. Did you know that plants need oxygen to survive, just like you? The roots of plants use oxygen to make energy and take in water. A plant that is growing in the dirt can pick up oxygen from air pockets in the dirt. But in a wetland, the pockets of the soil are filled with water. So wetland plants have adaptations to help them get oxygen. Wetland plants have special tissues inside that help them suck up resources like oxygen from the soil. On this slide, there are 2 photos. The one on the left is from a Phragmites plant, and the one on the right is from a 3-square bulrush plant. Phragmites are considered wetland bullies and like to take all of the resources from other plants that are around them. Can you see that the Phragmites tube is bigger than the 3-square bulrush stem? The bigger tube can allow for more air to travel through. In this presentation, we are going to talk about broadleaf cattails, hardstem bulrushes, 3-square bulrushes, saltgrass, duckweed, and Phragmites. Have you heard of any of these plants before? Broadleaf cattails are medium-tall, stiff plants with leaves that look like giant blades of grass and yellow tan flowers at the top. They provide shelter for long-billed marsh wrens, red-winged blackbirds, and yellow-headed blackbirds. Cattail rootstocks can be used as food for wildlife, and the seeds are eaten by several duck species. Geese and muskrats prefer the stem and roots. The fluffy head is considered a flower, and there are over 27,000 seeds per flower. This allows cattails to reproduce a lot. Hardstem bulrushes have 3 to 9 feet tall, pale green stems that are stiff and round with a reddish-brown flower cluster near the top. They are generally found in areas of standing shallow water between 4 inches to 5 feet deep. They also like to grow in salty areas. Waterfowl feed on seeds and use stands for nesting. In Utah, they are very important for heron and egret nesting cover. Seeds are generally dispersed through animal digestive systems, meaning that an animal will eat the seeds and then poop them out at a different location. 3-square bulrushes grow up to 5 feet tall. They have smooth, strong stems in the shape of a sharp triangle and small clusters of 1 to 8 oval spikelets near the top of the stalk. Spikelets are fruits with bristles. Their leaves grow near the base, and 3-square bulrushes grow in standing water or very wet soil. Birds really love the seeds, and the stems provide nesting habitat for blackbirds and marsh wrens and shelter for other small animals. Saltgrass are low-growing, stiff grasses with straight stems. They are rough to the touch and arranged in 2 opposite rows on the stem. Tiny salt crystals may be visible on leaves and stems in the sunlight. They have straw-colored flower spikelets that grow on the tip in May. Small mammals, birds, fish, and larvae of many species of marine invertebrate animals use salt grass for cover and nesting, as well as eating the rootstocks and seeds. They are one of the most drought-tolerant species. They can also survive flooding and heavy saturated soils if the leaves are exposed to air, allowing air to be moved from the leaves to the roots. Duckweed are tiny, free-floating green leaves that are round or oval-shaped and look like dots. They have small, red-purple rootlets that hang from the leaves underwater. They tend to grab each other and form a thick layer on top of the water's surface. They are the smallest flowering plants known and can help filter pollutants from the water. Phragmites could grow up to 13 feet tall. They have large, thick-stalked grass. The stalks are stiff, smooth, hollow, round, and do not have branches. The leaves are long and flat and can grow as long as 2 feet. They have floppy, feather-like flowers at the top filled with seeds. And they grow best in firm mineral clays and can tolerate moderate salinity. They are actually found on every continent except Antarctica. Phragmites are wetland bullies because they are really good at living in a lot of different places and do better than the plants that already live there. Phragmites can grow really tall, which can cover other shorter plants and stop sunlight from reaching them. Do you remember that we also talked about their tube that allows for a lot of air to travel through the plant? We hope you learned something new about wetland plants. Some of the things that we think you could take away from this presentation are the following. Different plants select different places to live, different habitats, based on their specific needs for soil, sun, and water. Plants have a variety of adaptations to help them meet their needs. Soil is food and varies depending on how and where it is formed. What will you remember from this presentation? Congrats! You finished the wetland plants presentation. Please do either the birds or the aquatic macroinvertebrates presentation next. We wanted to take a second to thank the many people that provided photos for this presentation. Thank you. We couldn't have done it without you.